What's up, everyone? I'm GKB, aka the Governor. I'm also joined today by my co-host of the Console Corner, the First Lady of Xbox, SheWolf.
Hey guys, what's up?
Today on Gamers Knows Best, we will be reviewing and having a great discussion about LiveLock. Is this game worth your time and money? Let's get into the video and find out. Real quick, if you're new to the channel, we do gaming videos, reviews, tech unboxings, and the sexiest damn podcast on Tuesday nights called The Console Corner. If these topics interest you, I would definitely consider subscribing. LiveLock is a cooperative top-down shooter developed by Took and published by Perfect World Entertainment. You'll be able to control one of three intellects called Hex, Vanguard, and Catalyst. You could choose to play solo or with up to 2 friends in co-op. To end the cycle of the infinite war between the machines, LiveLock launches on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Steam on August 30th, 2016 for $19.99. Our review was done on the Xbox One. Alright, into our first topic, and like we always say, it's the eye candy. Graphics are the first thing that you see before anything else. It's usually the thing that grabs you. So what did we think of the art style and overall look of LiveLock? For me personally, I love this Diablo style type game. I like the, just looking top down, seeing all the environments. This game's really right up my alley.
Talking about the top down, I have to say, for being so high up and looking straight down at the environment, there is so many small details that you can actually see in these kind of games. And this game definitely delivered that, from the cracks in the ground to just all the small pieces of the buildings and rocks and everything that you have to move through. And I do love that they actually took time to put all that and so much more detail into, like, even the burnt cars and the lifelessness of the worlds that they created.
Yeah, this is definitely, for everyone out there, this is like a post-apocalyptic kind of game, so you're not going to see any like vibrant colors. It's all like destruction and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the graphics are awesome. Like SheWolf was saying, there is a lot of detail in the environments and enemies on screen, so that's really nice. I thought the effects are great too in this game. With this kind of game, you get a lot of stuff on screen at the same time. And what I did notice, which is kind of a negative here, is there's some screen tearing when the action starts to ramp up. To be fair, we're playing a pre-day one patch build of this game, so we don't have the day one patch, so this could change at launch. I don't know about SheWolf, but I'll go into this real quick. I also like that the character customization is really great in this game. As you play through the game, you unlock paint jobs and skins, and also when you defeat enemies like bosses and such, like, they'll drop this stuff too. So it's really cool how you can make your character your own.
That's definitely one thing. Me personally, I love games that you can customize things. I love any style of game that you can customize things. I sit there for hours. The fact that you have to actually kill a lot of things to get these is a little disappointing to me, but of course that's the game. They got to put some challenge into there, so I completely understand why they're doing it. So with the weapons, there's a lot of different unique style weapons, and I do like the details that they put into each of them.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I loved how in between each act and some points throughout the game, they have these animated cutscenes that are great, but they're not like, in-game or anything like that. It's much more like an animated comic, where there's just slight movements and stuff. Kind of like Hyper Light Drifter in a way, but much more detailed. I really thought that was a nice touch and added some, unique depth to the game. Enemy models also have a lot of variety in each act, but at some points, like towards the end of the game, you do start to see a little bit of rehashing just to change it up a little bit. But
exactly, but the animation is amazing in it, and I'll give it credit for that.
Alright, on to the topic that matters most in all video games, and that is gameplay. Without good gameplay, it simply wouldn't be a game, number one, and two, it would suck really freaking badly. So how did we like the gameplay of LiveLock? For me, like I said in the beginning of this review, I love this kind of top-down, crazy, frantic nature of the game. I like a lot of stuff on screen, a lot of things happening. I like to manage all that kind of stuff, so I really enjoy that about this game. The first character that I played through was Vanguard. He's your typical tank character in the game. What I like about these characters in general is as you level up these characters, you unlock new abilities and new weapons, so you can change out your loadout and customize it to your play style, and that's always really nice.
I definitely agree. I played as Catalyst my first time through, and she's definitely that DPS kind of style. She has this really neat kind of laser gun, I guess you would call it, and she seemed to be more stronger when I was just sitting there punching. So I don't know if it was just the mechanics of the game. That's how she was set up to be, but I like that they actually implemented and actually put in a female character. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's one of your big things in like all the reviews, to make sure there's like a female character in there to relate to the female gamers out there. To be fair, I really like everything that's going on the screen, right? Like I love a ton of the stuff. And what's really cool is you really have to balance out your abilities to, watch your health, especially on the harder difficulties. And speaking of harder difficulties, my only issue with this, with the harder difficulties, is it didn't seem like it was really that much harder. More or less, it just threw more enemies and they had a little bit more health. It didn't like add new abilities to the enemies or anything like that, which was kind of a letdown.
It's also, speaking of just the characters in general, I have to say it's kind of different how they actually only have a 3-player co-op instead of actually having 4-player like most games.
Yeah, that is kind of unique to this game. I mean, Destiny kind of does it too with like their 3-man fire team kind of stuff. It is kind of an odd number there, not really even. So yeah, I could totally get what you're saying there. I also thought, like, I don't know how you felt, but when you were playing through with Catalyst and stuff, did you find that the abilities were like rewarding to you when you used them? Because I thought it was like really rewarding, especially when I got later on into the game, when I'm just getting like tons and tons of dude on screen and I'm just like whacking them away and like just trying to do all kinds of stuff. I thought it was very rewarding. Like Vanguard has this like seismic attack where he stomps the ground kind of, and it kind of erupts around in this like little circular area, and we have a lot of people on you. It's a good way to for crowd control and all that kind of stuff, and it just felt really rewarding just watching all kinds of stuff just like blowing up and everything like that.
That's where the whole animation kind of comes into play, and I have to say it's kind of neat being able to watch your character from the top running through, and like you said, it hordes in with a whole bunch of different monsters or creatures, or in this case I guess they're mechanical enemies, and you get to actually see them all explode at once because of this special. And I definitely agree, it is actually rewarding, and it's just kind of neat to watch as well.
I just got 2 more things I want to touch on in the gameplay, and one is the boss fights. I thought they were really cool. At the end of each act there was like this cool little boss fight. Each of them were very specific to that act, and they also had their own abilities and stuff, which is nice. Also, like, SheWolf and I played a bit of the co-op together. Go ahead and check that out and see how it worked. And I thought it played fine. Again, I didn't really see much of a difference with like the enemies and all that kind of stuff. It felt much just like how I was playing it solo, maybe just a few more because there was 2 of us. I don't know, how'd you feel about that?
I personally didn't notice that there was really more. It kind of felt the exact same, to be honest. And I was playing on easy. Yes, I'm going to admit, I was playing the game on easy, and it really didn't feel like there was that many more. So I don't know if it's just set that way or if that's going to change once released, or I don't know. But I really didn't feel the difficulty go up. And I do have to say, though, we did drop connection a couple times. That I hope they fix, because I don't know what server base they're on.
And I did lie. I have one more thing to talk about. Everybody knows how I love Horde mode. It's a survival mode, and you pretty much last as long as you can. There also is achievements for this too, and that's a lot of fun. It just kind of starts off slow, and then it just throws more and more, adds bosses and everything in there. So I thought that was really cool. I do love me some Horde mode. All right, on to our last topic before we get into the verdict, and that is the story. Now, this is usually what keeps you engaged in all kinds of games. There have been some great stories in gaming, but what did we think specifically about LiveLock's story? I'm going to go ahead and let SheWolf start on this one.
All right, so without giving anything really away, they do start off letting you know that this is 150 years into the future. And of course, all of humanity, all the plants, all the life form has been killed. But what's neat about the story, I thought, was the fact that humans knew it was coming, so they had about 10 years to actually create these robots or these mechanic figures that you would be playing as. You actually, they have the memory of humans, and as you play through the game, they actually start to remember the base of what the human's life was, their friends, their family, and all that. And so it was really interesting the way that this game is, and there's so many different things you can do to actually find more lore out in this game if you choose to. If you don't want to, you can just go through and just kill things. But if you do want to know a little bit more of the story, there's like little things that you can pick up, like different little boxes and stuff like that, I believe, databases and stuff that you can actually get to learn more story.
Yeah, like SheWolf was saying, there's like these little voice logs and stuff throughout the game that you can pick up, and they'll tell you a little bit more in depth about the lore. And you can also find a bunch of lore online from the developer and all that kind of stuff. For me, I actually really enjoyed the story of this game. I wasn't expecting like a lot of story in this one. Diablo is like one of those rare, top-down games that throw a lot of story and stuff. I mean, it's Blizzard. But they actually did a really good job here. Like I said before, I like the animated cutscenes. They're like animated comic books, so I really dug it. I like the art style of it. The story also is all voice acted. My one problem with the story, it has some cringe-worthy one-liners, like from those old 80s movies or something like that. But to be fair, like I said before, these kind of games you're not really playing for the epic story in these games. So for me, it was fine. But there is that. I wanted to note that for everyone. It's nice that they made a good effort to do a story because, like I said, a lot of these games, they just throw on a story. It's kind of like tacked on at the end and da-da-da. But this one actually hits the points throughout. It keeps you engaged and keeps the story moving along. So I liked it.
I agree. I think, they tried to give you that feel of a Diablo-style game. And I have to say, for an indie game, I think with what they have, they did cover that pretty well, and they achieved that. And I thought the story was interesting, and it is definitely good to listen to while you're going through the game and stuff like that as well.
All right, now on to what everyone came to see. Is LiveLock a buy, wait for a sale, or flush this turd down the toilet? But first, let's get into the pros and cons, starting off with the cons. For me, the in-game, and this is the in-game stuff, so there's cutscenes that are outside between the acts, and then there's in-game cutscenes. They suffered from textures not loading, and I said before, the very noticeable screen tearing, so it's kind of jarring at times. At the end of Act 2 and into Act 3, like I said before, you start to see rehashed enemies, so I wish that wasn't there as well. What about you? What was your cons, SheWolf?
Really, there isn't major, I don't really have any major cons when it comes to this game. It's just more or less you're going through, you're pretty much doing the same thing. You're walking through and you're killing things. But of course, that's the style of game, so I don't really know if you could call that a con or not, but other than, like you said, the screen tearing and losing connection during co-op, whether or not it's your style of game or not.
On to the pros. For me, the graphics are nice overall. I enjoyed the variety of environments that you could play in. I thought that was really nice. The attention to detail was nice as well. The character customization, again, is really nice. I didn't really think we would get that. The meta in this game is not huge. It adds enough to keep it fresh, and you can change up things for different playthroughs and different play styles, which was nice. And again, the story was good.
For me, when it comes to the pros, I have to say the graphics were nice to look at. The animations that they had for each different machine was really cool, and the UI that they have when you first load into the game and stuff, I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the story. I thought they put in the lore for those who wanted to listen to it and who didn't want to listen to it, so I thought that was really neat. And just the overall game, for the game style that they were trying to create, I think they did a great job.
All right, is this game a buy, wait for a sale, or flush this turd down the toilet? For me, I had fun playing through the game, but you have to be into Diablo-esque games. So this won't appeal to everyone. If you love the top-down shooters, this is for you, and I would recommend picking it up. For everyone else, though, this will be a pass. This game will get the governor's seal of approval. I had a great time with LiveLock.
For me, I'd have to say I definitely agree. If you like the Diablo style game and you want variety, then this is definitely a game to pick up. For $19.99, it's a cheaper version of Diablo, so I definitely agree. It's a buy for those people who do like this style. If you don't, then obviously it's not for you. So for me, it'd be a buy.
All right, that's it. This is GKB.
And SheWolf.
We hope you enjoyed this review/discussion of LiveLock. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you drop a robot on that like button. If you'd like to see more of these videos, make sure to subscribe. And as always, take care of your fellow gamers.